Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chad back with you again. It's been quite a while. Sorry, it's a lot of glare from the background. I was trying to use the curtain, but the sun popped out in Michigan. It's been a funny summer so far. Um, so I'm gonna try and do a couple videos here and there. I have a new friend that's gonna come on board with us and help us out with some different things here shortly, which will be fun because we'll have some new and different and fun guns to shoot. And he's got a few ideas, and I got a few ideas, and I've just been super duper busy. If you guys are on the channel at all, and obviously a few of you have been, it's taken a while, but I've gotten some great comments, and you guys have seen that my son just graduated the Air Force. My daughter is soon off to college, so things are starting to kind of sort of level off a little bit. So that's good. I've done some stuff lately, and then this and that. So I have been doing a whole lot of shooting. Yeah, it is what it is. Everybody gets busy. So I wanted to take a minute and go through some of the recent comments that have come up. Some of these videos are old, but have been recently found, and some comments and some great conversations. And I don't know necessarily if these folks want their names thrown out there, but well, that's your fault. You commented, so here you go. So Dutch 1722, we had a great conversation. We were talking about red dots, and he threw me a bunch of comments, but he had some great questions about red dots. So we're going to do a quick video about red dots today. Some of it's about what he had to ask, and some extras. So Dutch, thanks. Kind of got me motivated to do a video again. You and my buddy, which will remain nameless at this point in time. I got another from Chad Allred 1. Chad Allred 1. I think that's probably the better way. Great question. Are we related? This was in the comment to the Christensen Mesa in 6.5 Creedmoor, trying different grains. If you guys go back and look at that video, we had some success, not great success. I had a few comments, nothing major. No, Chad, we are not related. I did look just to make sure, but yeah, no. We do not share a surname, but kindred spirits nonetheless. Another great one that I seen, and I love the comments. I love knowing that somebody actually watched these and paid attention and was like, good, bad, or indifferent. Scott T5C. This was removing a buffer spring on a Tippmann M422. So you guys know, well, maybe you don't know. If you've watched my video at all, I'm a huge Tippmann M422 fan. I've been using it ever since I started Steel Challenge, which I haven't done in a minute. There's been issues, haven't had time, whatever. Have had my partners to shoot with. Anyway, just not been a priority. But I'm also part of the Tippmann Owners Group and was pretty active on that up until the last couple years with everything that else that happened. And one of the members on there was asking about, removing the buffer tube, and should it be cleaned, how it should be cleaned, how to remove it, etc., etc. And I'm like, well, I'll hop on real quick. I'll do a video on how to pull that out, and here's my thoughts. So I did, literally, it was just a quick 5-8 minute video, something like that. And his comment was, didn't even remove it. What the fuck? Well, I did. I pulled it out almost all the way. I think, judging by the other person's comment and thanking me for showing them, I think I explained in the video why I wasn't going to go any farther with it. Yeah, but that's your opinion. That's cool. I will admit, my pullout game is weak. I have two kids to prove that. So yeah, my pullout game not great. If you need me to show you how to pull the spring out the rest of the way, you probably got more issues and probably shouldn't be shooting. But love you. Thank you for commenting. Oh, what else we got? Tommy Yuckguts 98W. Seymour on any platform is wild AF, even if it's a 22. I agree. I mean, you know, a Seymour rail system on an AR, not traditionally something you would normally see, especially if you're not shooting something like Steel Challenge. If you're not out there competitively shooting a AR platform, and quite frankly, if you're shooting something like Steel Challenge, you don't see a tremendous amount of ARs. You usually see something like the Smith & Wesson, 22 AR platform. And the reason a lot of people move towards that is it's relatively easy to get and inexpensive. And they'll do something like a tube dot or something else like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather see them do that than not play. And, you know, you don't always have to, especially in Steel Challenge or some of those other sports like Rimfire Challenge. You don't have to spend a lot of money to play and have fun. And that's fine. But yeah, no, I agree. Kind of oddball. For me, the reason I did it is because I didn't know exactly what size dot was going to work for me. I like the fact that it was an open frame. I like the fact that I could shoot with two eyes open. I like the fact that I could buy a dot and change the dot size. I could change the diode, so I could go all the way from, and I did a video on that actually. I went from I believe 18 MOA or 16 MOA dot all the way down to 8 MOA dot, and it was $50. And you can do anything in between from like 2 MOA all the way up, and it's $50. You're not buying a whole new system to put on that firearm, and they're light. They're fairly robust. I mean, nobody's throwing around the race gun. Is it something that I would use for 3-gun or something I was going to throw into a bucket? I don't know. Might give it a try someday. I don't know. What's another one? Oh, got a comment on Glock performance trigger. God damn it. You're pulling way too high on that trigger for a pull test. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. If you go back and you look at that video, I pulled in a couple different places. Got the same, it's a flat face trigger. And I pulled on both the stock trigger and the aftermarket trigger. So I was trying to be fair about it. But hey, that's your opinion. If you want me to revisit that, fine. But there's also a billion videos out there on that. I got flagged for that video actually. Yeah, no, that was a bad one. Because it included gunsmithing and yeah, evidently, well, obviously, YouTube doesn't allow for that. You shouldn't show people how to, I would say, perform maintenance on their firearms, but obviously for them that's gunsmithing. But it was a very, very popular video, which is why I think it got flagged. But I'm nobody. It doesn't matter. Channel's still up, so that's cool. What else did we get? Oh, the SR45 video. That was surprising. I got some feedback. Love my SR45 that I upgraded to my hands and taste. Yes. So, yes, I know the SR series, older firearm. It's got its quirks. It usually works great. I mean, those were one of those firearms you got it out of the box, and you know, if you went through a box of ammo and you didn't have a problem initially, they were fantastic. But again, they had their quirks. Take them apart, put them back together, and they did have the adjustable back strap, which a lot of people, unfortunately, when they bought them, a lot of the people that were selling them to them didn't understand everything, so you had to kind of do your own research on. Yeah, another guy, have you tried turning the back strap backwards? Yes, I did. Again, that particular gun was left to me by a friend of mine that passed away, so I'll never touch it. I'll always leave it the way it is. And it to me, it was just a goofy gun. It was, you know, I explained it in the video. I don't think it's a bad gun. I'll never let it go. It means more sentimentally to me than what the value of the parts are. So it doesn't really matter what my, you know, if somebody sent me that gun and said, "Oh, what do you think about it?" It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's important to me for that reason. Oh, what were some of the other things we got today? Oh, the Zero Delta 1. This thing. This is clear. I've checked it. It's empty. Can't really see light through it, sorry. That gun, you know, started off with the best of intention for me. There's a whole video series on it. I haven't really went through my videos and categorize things as best I should have, and I'll try and do that. And it's really nothing against Delta Zero. They actually build a lot of very interesting and good things, and are partnered with the whole AR rifle platform, which is unbranded. I've shot and gotten my hands on a few of those rifles. I was impressed. US Optics, I've messed with a couple of those. They've been great. I just think that hopefully I got a goofball, or I was trying to do something with it that they never intended. I will tell you at this point, this gun I do love, and somebody else in the comments was agreeing with me but offered to buy it. Yeah, no, I'll take it, and yeah, no, that's great. No, this gun will never leave my house, and it has strict instructions that, you know, should something happen to me, no, just destroy it. At this point, this gun has been pretty much replaced with all Glock internals, and she runs great. There definitely has been modifications to work with all Glock Gen 5 internals. But since I've done that, yeah, it's great. I did stipple, or I'm sorry, not stipple. I did put the not the skateboard tape, but I did the home. I'm trying to say the silicone carbide. I figured if I was going to ever experiment with a gun and try it myself, I did it with this gun, and that picture's terrible. I know the lighting's horrible behind me, but I tried it, and it turned out really great. I mean, you can be a big, sweaty, fat guy like me, and this thing you can always get a purchase on it. So that's fantastic. I love that. So, and then the Glock performance trigger, and then the Johnny Glock flat face trigger that I added to it, and all the process I went through that. And then I actually have some other pieces and parts for it that I've tried here and there, but I haven't documented all that. No, it's a hoot to shoot. It's fun now. You know, it's still missing the front sight. That fell off. That's in the yard somewhere. Don't care. I'll put sights back on it. Don't care. I shoot a red dot anyways. What else? Oh, during the Glock performance trigger, because I kind of did that as just I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to do it. Because there were people, you know, how hard is this to do? How difficult is it to do? It's really not. It's really not. It says have it. Of course, Glock is going to tell you to have it done by a Glock armor, which you should absolutely do. I'm not going to argue with that at all. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not comfortable with it, take it to an armor. You know, there's plenty of people out there that will do it for you, but it is a pretty simple process. Just because you take your car to have the brakes changed, just because you go to a doctor, just because, it doesn't mean you shouldn't know what the process is. Doesn't mean you shouldn't know how it's done, right? And that's the great part about the whole YouTube and Rumble and all these other social media platforms. Doesn't mean you still want to do it yourself. It's just you'd like to know what's going on behind the scenes. What does that entail? And maybe you'll appreciate what they're doing a little bit more. And a lot of people, quite frankly, will go, you know, I wouldn't mess with that. I wouldn't dig into my gun. Fine. Have somebody else do it. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that at all. If you're not comfortable with it, you don't have that security in yourself, don't do it. It's fine. Well, there's a couple from Dad on here. I'm not going to share those. Grass bait shooting, yeah, no. Smoking it, yeah, no, fine. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell for the. Everybody's been pretty awesome about the feedback, which is super cool. And I didn't expect any less. I mean, the gun community is pretty forgiving. We're a pretty open crowd. We enjoy our sport. We're pretty welcoming to most people. We don't want to be those guys, I find. So let's get to today's little tidbit. So again, gosh, I already forgot his name because I have a memory as long as my dick. Let's talk about red dots real quick. So the original question that he posed to me was, what size red dot for squirrels? And I was like, well, I don't know. How far away are you shooting them? What are you putting the red dot on? And we had more conversation. And then he guessed me a little bit younger than my age. God bless you. I appreciate that. which is none of your business, by the way. But that's really a mixed bag. So the reason I ask, and again, I want to qualify this with, I am not an expert. I am not a gunsmith. I am not a sniper. I am not. I've just been shooting for a long time. I share my love of the sport with everybody else that's out there. So your mileage may vary. Your opinion will definitely. And no, we're just having fun. And if you guys have more information or there's something you want to share, hit me up, send it back, duo me, send me a link to your video, I'll tag it on mine, whatever, that's fine. But having said all that, here's my philosophy, if you will. And I'll go back to some earlier videos we had. So again, when they talk about MOA of a dot, it's minute of angle. So if we start there, and we know that a 6 MOA dot, that means it's a 6-inch circle at 100 yards. And we just do some very basic math. We know that at 50 yards, that's a 3-inch. We half that again at 25, that's 1.5 inches, so on and so forth. Okay. How accurate are you, first of all? How accurate is your gun? And then, how good are your eyes? You guys will notice I'm wearing these now, and I didn't do that in my videos prior. I'm getting older. I thought I had pretty good eyes. I only wore readers before, so I could see from me to you right now with this camera. I pretty much need them to read the dash in my car and read stuff that I do for work every day now. So, that's been a problem. I have astigmatism. Red dots are problematic, but also a solution for me at the same time. Open sights are, I don't want to say impossible, but not as accurate for me as they once were. For a defensive weapon up to 12 yards where you're more point shoot, not a big deal. I mean, it's not so much using the sights as referencing the front, and I hesitate when I say reference the front sight, as more as referencing the front of the gun, because there are guns out there that have fixed sights that are minuscule, that again, on something the size of a paper plate at say 12 yards and under, it's kind of like pointing your finger. You get the point. Longer distances, let's say 50 yards, I can still do okay with open sights. Past that, I'm pretty much screwed. I either have to go to a red dot, or I got to go to a telescopic, a scope. And the older I get, a variable scope is is much more advantageous for me. But I digress. So I brought out a couple of things today. My father, which is commented on the channel, and you guys have seen him in some of the Steel Challenge videos I posted. That goes along with me. He gave me a birthday present this year that he owned and he still loves, and love it. Wanted one, haven't been able to pull the trigger on it, and he gave to me, and I really, really, really wanted to shoot it, but initially I had a really hard time with it. So this is it. So this is Ruger match champion. This is clear. I will never bring anything in camera with, ammo on the table, unless we're out the range. Great gun. Love Ruger. I give him a lot of shit. Great trigger. Great double action. Nice smooth take up. Nice break. Great gun all the way around. But the upwind sights gave me hell. I really had a problem with them. So I got with EGW, and they provide you can see it there pretty good. They provide a base for the Ruger that you can mount a variety of different red dots to. So, they'll provide all the major different footprints. So check your footprints, make sure you have an idea of what red dot you want to get into first. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Go pick your red dot first. Go look through a few of them. Understand if you want green or red. Understand what kind of dot size you want first before you go buying a red dot. And then, figure out what mount you want and whatnot. So, anyway, awesome gun, more accurate than I could ever be. Super accurate in his hands, even with open dot or open sights, because he can still do that. I'm not so. I actually put the Holosun 507K in green on this one, and I prefer green. I love green, but not everybody offers green red dots. Why do I prefer green? For some reason, my eye attracts to green, and there's some scientific proof to that the human eye can actually pick up more variations or more levels or more shades of green than red. If you think about it, even military vessels and things like that, when they go to night ops or things like that, they'll use red lights internally in their vehicles because it can't be picked up by the human eye as far away, which makes sense. I mean, you don't want to be a beacon way far away, so that totally makes sense. But for you, the shooter, you're gonna have to figure that out. The other thing with red dots that you need to remember or understand is if you have a stigmatism like I do, a lot of times they're going to have a flare. And, if you have astigmatism, the first time you pull up on a red dot, it's going to have what they call a flare or a starring effect. You're not going to see a nice, clear red dot. Yeah, you can spend lots and lots of money and you can get towards the high end. They may still have that flare. That may just be something that you have to live with, or don't go with a red dot. Go with an optic. Go with something telephoto. Go with, a scope. I don't know. Or learn how to shoot around it. Or, as I'll show you in a little bit, there's some other options, like part of the reason why I went with the Holosun here. I love red dots. Part of the reason I like them is, for me, it does take a little bit of training. I like the fact that I can shoot two eyes open. I am right eye dominant, even though when I first started shooting, I shot left-handed. We didn't know at the time. We just thought I was left-handed, and that's the way I started shooting. Finally, somebody pointed out the fact that I might be right eye dominant. We did the whole test and this and that, and yeah, you're right eye dominant, so start learning how to shoot right-handed. I did that, made the world difference, and so I I shoot pistols, I shoot rifles, I shoot, even with a scope, I still, most of the time, unless I'm really bearing down on a long distance target, I shoot 2 eyes open. It just helps me keep everything, I can see the field, if you will. So anyways, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to have a white sheet here where I can kind of show the difference between the 2 dots and kind of give you a better example. And it's super hard through a camera lens to give you a great aspect, but here's the thing to remember about a red dot. So if you go to the store, you're looking through that red dot. Remember, A, do you have astigmatism? You're going to have some flare to it. The other thing too is the adjustability up and down. In highlight situations like we have out behind me today, it's super bright out. Can you dim it down enough that you can get that down to a smaller focus, to a smaller dot, to make that accuracy count? The other thing is how accurate do you want to be? You know, I've seen, and you guys know, I've mentioned in other videos, I did work at Sportsman's Warehouse for a period of time, and that was to get discounts and get cool shit. But I seen a lot of people that came in and bought defensive weapons. You know, I'm gonna have a carry and I want a red dot on it, which I'm totally for. That's fine. But they wanted a 2 MOA dot on it. It's like, why? You know, at 12 yards, that 2 MOA dot is a 1/4 inch. Do you need to be that accurate at 10 yards? You could go with a 18 MOA dot. It's still going to be what, 2 inches? So understand when you buy a red dot, how accurate do you need to be? And for a pistol, in my case, you may be more accurate than me. You may be trying to shoot more precise than me. In my experience, for instance, I have a Smith & Wesson 22 mag that has a 6 MOA dot on it. Yeah, it can shoot inside that 6 MOA dot at 50 yards all day, and I've sighted it in to the center of, and again at 50 yards, that dot is 3 inches. And at 50 yards, yeah, it's inside an inch easily off a rest. You know, I'm taking all the variables out. How tight can it shoot? It shoots well inside that 3 inch dot at 50 yards. At 100 yards, as long as I can hold that 6 inch dot still, it will stay inside that 6 inch dot. So if I put it in a vise, or I had I can't remember the name of the device, but if I clamped it down and was just pulling a string, I know that I have it sighted in that it would stay within that red circle at 100 yards. That's a 22 mag pistol. How much more do I expect? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If it was a 223 rifle, do I expect better than 6 MOA at 100? Well, yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I would want to have a 4 MOA or 2 MOA dot at that point, depending. So I guess what I'm trying to say is be rational. My philosophy is, you know, the dot should be representative of the possible group that the gun could shoot. And it's your responsibility to put that dot in the middle of where the bullet should land. Anyway. All right, give me just a second. I'm going to flip things around here real quick. So here's a good example of what I mean by it's super difficult on a camera. All right. So the first one I'm going to pull up, this is the 507. This is actually a 2 MOA dot, right? Green. Oh, shows up great against that black. Doesn't show up bad against the white either. I can show you that in a second. But that is a 2 MOA dot. This is from the camera. Okay. Here's a 6 MOA dot in red. Now from the camera at this distance, through a camera, it nearly impossible to tell the difference, right? If we remove the black background, okay, all right, we go back to the green. I can turn that up just a little bit brighter, I suppose. There we go. Right, there it is. Again, same distance from the camera. Viewing window's a little bit smaller. And here is the, oops, already turned off, really? Jeez, oh Pete. Turn that up a bit. There's the 6. I mean, I would challenge any of you to tell me you see a difference. That's the unfortunate part about doing this on camera. It is super difficult. All right, so hang tight, I'm gonna switch back. So that's why it's so hard to show these. I mean, getting the aspect ratio and relative, and then add into that, what are you putting it on? Because remember, I mean, think of it as focal acuity, I guess is the right term. Because if you move that dot further away from your face, that dot on a 2D plane, if you will, appears to be even smaller, and or move it back closer on the rifle, it looks even larger. So yeah, red dots are not easy to get the gist of, but once you do, I mean, they can be a lot of fun. But you know, if I hold my pistol out here, a 6 MOA to my eye, that's great. I would tell you, and as I've told everybody, go to a shop, right? And pick up a few and see how they look to you. And I'm trying to turn those off. I'll turn them off in a minute. And see what looks good to your eye. What can you pick up further? The other thing too, which I'm gonna switch around and do in just a second, is how high are they? Maybe we'll save that for a second video, actually. So how far are they mounted off the weapon? Because that can apply to scopes, sights, anything else. So we'll do that in another video. But yeah, red dots are awesome. You should definitely play with them. But you know, good news is, you know, you want to buy it online, great. Find a better deal, awesome. Go online and look up your deal. Go to a gun store, put them in your hand, and then simulate how far away it's going to be from your eye. Oh, it's going to be on a rifle. Well, it's going to be here. You know, I'm going to be holding it here, and then compare it to something in the store of a known size that you're going to be hunting with it, right? And then do your basic math. I guess is what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's, you know, for the gentleman that asked me about squirrel hunting with him, yeah, no, all day, can totally do it. I use a scope because I'm old-ish. Mine aren't great anymore. Yeah, I can see them. I can find them. But if I want to head shoot them so I have something left to eat, I use a scope. Sorry. Woodchuck shooting out here? No. I use optics because they're getting smart. They stay away from the house. Yeah, so. Yeah, well, hey, I appreciate all the feedback, guys. Thank you all for good, bad, or indifferent comments. I love it either way. If it was meant in jest, thank you. Love the humor. If it wasn't, go fuck yourselves. Don't really care. I'm not making money off this channel anyway. That's cool. I mean, you do you. I'm not an expert. I'm nobody's daddy. You know, it's just my opinion. I enjoy this sport. I'd love to see it continue. Protect your Second Amendment. Guns are awesome. They're unique pieces of mechanical art, in my opinion. And they've been around for hundreds of years, and hopefully they'll be around for hundreds more. So thank you guys. Take care. Have a great day. Hope to hear from you soon.